When I was a deck officer cadet on my very first ship, leaving the bridge wasn't as simple as walking out. You had to let the watch know beforehand, partly because it was polite, and partly because if you disappeared without a word, they might think you'd gone overboard. So it's not much different from English conversations in the workplace. Saying I'm leaving or just goodbye, it's correct, but it can often sound flat, formal, or even a little abrupt. In many situations, whether you're leaving a meeting or wrapping it up for the day at the office or just stepping out for a quick break, the way you announce your exit sets the tone for what comes next. So here's something useful. Think about matching your goodbye phrase to the moment. For example, if you're leaving a team meeting, you might say, I'll be off for the day, instead of just, I'm leaving. The right choice can make you sound warmer, more fluent, and more approachable. So that's what we're talking about today. And I want you to stick around. You're not going to want to miss the Mastery Minute at the end. I'll share a classic goodbye phrase with an origin story you probably don't know. And if you got questions, drop them in the chat. I'll answer them right after the show. So let's jump into it. Meet Clara. Clara worked in an international office and ended every workday with, I'm leaving now. While her English was correct, her colleagues felt that it sounded distant. She wasn't really unfriendly, but she didn't know that there were warmer, more natural ways to say it. So we practiced different phrases. Let's get the camera back. So, like I said, we practiced using different phrases depending on the situation. With friends, she'd say, I've got to get going. In professional settings, I'll be off for the day. And when leaving after finishing a project, I'm wrapping it up here. So within a week, her goodbyes sounded more confident, casual, and connected. And her coworkers responded in kind. And that's the power of small language changes. So that's what I'd like to explore today. Why I'm leaving can sound a bit unnatural, and some alternatives that will help you sound fluent and friendly in any situation. So, saying that I'm leaving, it works, but it can sound like you're making a formal announcement. I'm leaving. Almost like you're addressing a crowd instead of having a conversation. In everyday English, how you leave a situation shapes the last impression that you make. So using more natural phrases can make you seem more approachable, more confident, and culturally in tune. In professional settings, it can help you build rapport with colleagues, and in casual ones, it keeps the connection warm. So, we're going to cover some common alternatives to I'm leaving, and plus when to use them and how to add a little more detail to keep the conversation going. So, I've got to get going is our first one. For example, you might say, I've got to get going. Early meeting tomorrow. I might say this while I'm gathering my notes, slinging my bag over my shoulder, and quickly giving a smile to the room. It's the kind of phrase that feels natural, like I've enjoyed my time, but now I'm moving on to the next thing. So you want to use this when you're leaving casually. Often add a short reason why you've got to get going. And you want to keep the tone friendly and light, as if you're letting people in on what's next for you. So that's the first one. Next up, I should head out. I should head out. Like, I should head out. Thanks for having me. Now, I might say this as I stand near the doorway. My jacket's in my hand. I'm smiling warmly at my host. It's the kind of phrase that makes your goodbye feel personal and appreciative, like thank you, right? As though you've enjoyed your time, but now it's the right moment to leave. When do you use this? When you're wrapping up a social visit or an informal meeting, especially when you want to leave a positive final impression. I should head out. Next, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. I have a call in 10 minutes. Now, I might say this while glancing at my watch, gathering my things, and giving a nod to the person that I'm speaking with. It signals that I'm mindful of my schedule, but I'm still leaving with a polite and considerate tone. So keep that in mind. You use this when you want to sound polite and clear, and you need to excuse yourself without seeming rushed or abrupt, like short. It's time for. Can you kind of see how this is better than I'm leaving now? It's time for me to go. I have a call in 10 minutes. And on that, move on to the next one. I'm heading out now. This is very similar to I'm leaving now, but we say I'm heading out. It's a phrasal verb, to head out. I'm heading out now. I'll see you tomorrow. Now, I might call this over my shoulder as I walk towards the elevator, giving a friendly wave. Hey, guys, I'm heading out now. Wave to my coworkers that are still at their desks. It's kind of a light, upbeat phrase. It fits into a casual workday rhythm. I'm heading out now. So this, like I said, it's casual. It's everyday office or friends settings where you want to keep the energy positive and informal. I'm heading out now. Bye. All right, next up. I need to run. Now this is kind of a little more action focused. It makes you visualize someone moving quickly, right? I need to run. I'm picking up my kids. So I might toss this out with a quick grin as I grab my bag and head towards the door. Give a little wave on the way out. It's light, it's informal, and it lets people know that you're in a hurry. So I need to run. See, that's that running part is when you're in a hurry, and that's why you have to leave. So again, this is friendly, it's informal. When you pin it to a reason why you need to run, it helps. And you may want to make your exit feel more natural rather than abrupt. Yeah, I need to run. And yeah, give that excuse. I'm picking up my kids. I'm in a hurry. Next up, I'm off for the day. Now, I would use this if I'm leaving for the day, but also if I'm just not coming into the office, I might say, I'm off for the day. But in this case, I'm off for the day. Have a good evening. I might say this, while I'm shutting down the computer, stacking up my papers, slipping on my jacket. Maybe I pause at the doorway to give a nod or a wave to a colleague or two who might still be working, letting them know that I'm done for the day. So this is a professional and warm. It's nice and balanced between polite formality and friendly connection. When do we use this? Use this at the office. When you're finishing work for the day, this is perfect. It's a professional way to maintain courtesy and still keep the tone approachable. And another one is I'm calling it a day. I'm calling it a day. My father used to say this to me all the time. I'm calling it a day. It's like I'm making the call. It's a day. So I'm calling it a day. Let's continue tomorrow. I might say this, as I stretch in my chair, like, oh, yeah, okay. I glance at the clock and start closing tabs on my computer. Maybe I give a quick smile to my teammate and add, we made some good progress today. It's a nice, relaxed, friendly way to signal that the end of your work is done and still leave things on a positive note. Use this when you're wrapping things up on work or study sessions at school, especially if you want to end on a friendly, upbeat tone. Wrapping it up. Call it a day. All right. And there we go. I'm wrapping it up here. I'm wrapping it up here and heading home. So this is to wrap things up when you're finished with something. I might say this while I'm closing the last file on my desk, stacking my paperwork, taking a last glance around to make sure I didn't leave anything unfinished. Maybe offer a smile and a wave or a wink to any colleagues that are still there. Say, see you tomorrow, as I grab my bag and head out. So it's a smooth and clear way to let others know you're finishing your tasks and heading out. So use this when you're ending your tasks. You're just about finished, so that means you're in the process of wrapping it up. Especially when you want to signal to people, hey, I'm closing things down and then I'm leaving. In other words, hint, hint, don't come looking for me if you have something else to do, or if you have something small, now's the time to do it. So here's a quick tip. Use this simple formula. Use a leaving phrase, that one of the ones we've just covered, and then a short reason why you're leaving. And this is for friendly and natural English. It makes you sound more relatable, but also gives your listener something to connect or respond to. Like, hey, I've got to get going. My train's in 10 minutes. There's your leaving phrase plus the reason. So, and a short reason can invite a friendly comment or keep the conversation flowing or even lead to an offer of help. You never know. And it turns a plain old goodbye into a brief moment of connection. And those moments add up to stronger relationships over time. So here's your challenge for this week. Replace I'm leaving with one of today's phrases at least 3 times. Add a short reason if you can, and then notice how people respond. Then I want you to come back to this video, drop a story in the comments. I love reading people's comments, and that would be really nice to hear those updates. And if you want to upgrade your English without boring grammar drills or memorizing your vocabulary, check out my course, Mastering English for Busy Professionals. Just 10 minutes a day to train your brain to think and speak naturally in English. The link is in the description and in the chat. And speaking of the chat, drop your questions in the chat and I'll answer a few live right after we're done with the Mastery Minute. Because now it's time for the Mastery Minute. And today's phrase is take your leave. Take your leave. A few years ago, I attended a formal reception aboard a naval vessel. And when it was time to go, one of the senior officers turned to the host, offered a handshake, and said with a smile, "If you will excuse me, I'll take my leave." It was a simple moment, but it carried a sense of respect and formality that you don't hear every day. So the phrase take your leave actually means to say goodbye and depart. Usually in a formal or respectful way. Like I said, it comes from Older English where leave meant permission. So taking your leave meant receiving permission to go. And the military still uses the word leave to mean scheduled time off, like a vacation, which comes from the same origin. So when do you use this? Today you'll most often hear it in literature, historical dramas, if you're into that kind of thing like I am, or in ceremonial contexts. It's a great one to pull out if you're leaving a formal event or if you want to add a touch of elegance to your goodbye. For example, after thanking the host, I took my leave. Now, if you use this sparingly, as in not too often, it can make your English feel polished and refined. Give it a shot. You might find it useful. So, and that is it. That's a wrap for today, episode 53. Today we learned friendly, professional, and casual ways to say I'm leaving. Try them out and see how they can change the way people respond to you. So, one other way, I'm going to give you a little bonus right now. Because you stuck around to the end, you can say, I'm out of here. I'm out of here, like I'm out of here. I'm out of here means I'm leaving, but in kind of a casual, playful way. Next time, we are going to talk about the biggest self-introduction fails and how to avoid them. You'll learn how to start strong, keep people engaged, and make sure your first impression sets you up for success in any conversation or presentation. And with that said, if you enjoyed tonight's tips, please give us a like, hit the subscribe button, and share this with a friend who's also on their English journey. Let's grow and improve together. And I'll see you on Friday night at 9:30 p.m. Korea Standard Time for another fun and practical episode. See you then.